Now what the hell do you think you're doing as that tin star, boy?
Watch that boy shit, redneck.
When Blazing Saddles first began filming, the Waco Kid wasn't supposed to be played by Gene Wilder. That role had already gone to Gig Young, a respected actor and Academy Award winner who, at least on paper, looked like the perfect fit. But what happened on set that first day nearly ended the film before it even got started. As the cameras rolled, Young began sweating, slurring his words, and shaking uncontrollably. At first, people thought it was just method acting, maybe he was going deep for the role. But the truth was far darker. Young was in the throes of alcohol withdrawal, and by mid-morning, he collapsed. The studio was panicked. Mel Brooks, the director, was suddenly without a lead in the middle of day one. Instead of going through casting agents or holding emergency auditions, Brooks made one phone call to Gene Wilder. The two had worked together on The Producers, and Brooks knew he could trust Wilder under pressure. What's surprising isn't just that Wilder said yes, it's how fast he jumped in. No script, no contract, no questions. Just, I'm in. He boarded a plane the next day, jet-lagged and completely unrehearsed. But by the time the cameras rolled again, it was like the Waco Kid had been written for him. His arrival didn't just keep the film alive, it transformed it. He took a character meant to be gritty and serious and turned him into something quietly profound. Gene Wilder didn't approach the Waco Kid like a traditional comic role, and that was entirely intentional. Before even stepping on set, he made a bold decision. He wasn't going to play the character for laughs. In a movie overflowing with absurd gags, slapstick violence, and fourth-wall-breaking chaos, Wilder took the complete opposite route. He delivered his lines with a calm, measured restraint that almost didn't belong in a comedy. Instead of mugging for the camera or exaggerating his expressions, Wilder leaned into stillness. He played the Waco Kid like a burned-out philosopher, someone who had seen too much and felt even more. His timing was impeccable, but never flashy. He didn't push jokes. He let them arrive naturally. Lines that could have been throwaway punchlines instead became memorable moments. The now-famous jail cell scene, where he explains his shaky hands, wasn't just ironic. It was heartbreaking. Mel Brooks later admitted that it was this quiet performance that gave Blazing Saddles its spine. Characters like Hedley Lamar and Mongo leaned into absurdity, but Wilder gave the film emotional weight. His stillness became a contrast that amplified the madness around him. Without that anchor, the movie could have spiraled into pure farce. But with Wilder's grounding presence, the comedy landed harder. Gene Wilder's Waco Kid is remembered for his deadpan delivery and perfect comedic timing, but look closer, and you'll find something far more haunting just beneath the surface. Wilder wasn't playing just another washed-up gunslinger. He was portraying a man wrecked by his past, quietly unraveling beneath the smirk. And he played it with the kind of depth most comedies never dare to reach. From the moment we meet the Waco Kid, it's clear he's broken. The nervous hand tremors, the glassy eyes, the slumped body language, they aren't just quirks for laughs. They're signals of trauma, regret, and a life that's taken too many hits. Wilder didn't lean into these traits for comic effect. Instead, he treated them as real, raw signs of a man grappling with something deeper. Some fans have even speculated that the character shows signs of what we now recognize as PTSD, long before that was part of the cultural conversation. In one iconic moment, when he recounts being the fastest draw in the West, there's no pride in his voice, only exhaustion. It doesn't feel like a boast. It feels like a confession. The performance is so subtle, it often flies under the radar on a first viewing. But once you see the pain he's playing beneath the surface, it changes the entire meaning of the character. While Blazing Saddles played like a riot on screen, the reality behind the scenes was anything but easy. The pressure was intense, balancing edgy satire, tight schedules, and a nervous studio breathing down everyone's neck. In the middle of all this, Gene Wilder became the unexpected stabilizer. He wasn't loud or commanding, but his quiet demeanor brought a sense of calm that kept the chaos from boiling over. He didn't lecture or take over scenes. Instead, Wilder offered quiet guidance, helping actors with delivery, pacing, and emotional nuance between takes. His feedback wasn't performative, it was private and thoughtful. People began calling him the unofficial director of tone, not because he gave orders, but because his instincts were so precise. While others were caught up in rewrites, reshoots, and studio notes, Wilder simply focused on getting every emotional beat right and helping others do the same. But even while holding that emotional ground, Wilder's creative gears never stopped turning. During filming breaks, he began tossing around an idea with Brooks, the spark for what would become Young Frankenstein. The idea wasn't pitched formally, it was just a thought shared between trusted friends. But it stuck. That passing comment turned into one of the greatest genre parodies ever made. Gene Wilder didn't just influence Blazing Saddles through his performance, he also quietly fought to protect its message. From the start, Warner Brothers executives were uneasy about the film's raw satire, particularly its racial commentary and unapologetic tone. Memos started flying in. The studio wanted changes, softer language, fewer slurs, and scenes rewritten to feel more comfortable for audiences. Though he wasn't a producer or director, Wilder used his credibility to shield the vision of the film. After all, he was already a respected name thanks to the producers. In meetings and private conversations, he supported Brooks's decisions, urging him not to bend to pressure. To Wilder, the film's value lay in its discomfort, its willingness to punch through polite comedy and expose uncomfortable truths. Diluting the film's voice would have gutted its power. His resistance wasn't showy. He didn't give interviews slamming the studio or stage protests. He just stood by the script, by Brooks, and by the idea that good comedy sometimes had to be fearless. His presence helped tip the scales. Studio execs may have dismissed Brooks's loud rebellion, but Wilder's quiet confidence gave the pushback credibility. And because of that, Blazing Saddles remained raw, sharp, and culturally fearless, just as it was meant to be. Gene Wilder's performance in Blazing Saddles didn't just earn laughs, it redefined what comedy could be. In a film filled with chaos, slapstick, and explosive satire, his calm, emotionally grounded portrayal of the Waco Kid became the glue that held everything together. He didn't shout to be heard, didn't chase punchlines. Instead, he delivered them with restraint, precision, and depth, turning what could have been a cartoonish side character into the film's emotional heartbeat. His performance aged better than most of the louder roles around him. Over time, audiences and critics began to realize that what seemed like a quiet supporting part was actually the foundation. His Waco Kid reflected on the absurdity around him instead of adding to it.